Hello and welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage. And we're working on the motor, but we also got the frame up here on the lift. We're gonna start working on some of the frame stuff here coming up. So we are looking at a 1956 straight leg frame. This frame is actually a 55 through 57 frame. It was a 3-year run frame for it being a straight leg here. Because in 54 it was a wishbone. And then halfway through 54, it became a straight leg. And then 55, 56, and 57 are all rigid frames, straight legs, just like this. There's main differences between the 56 and the other frames, like the 55 and so. I'll show a couple things. But like this, for starters, it has the stamp here. It says 6E on it for the time stamp for it, for the year and the month. We got hallmarks on all the parts here, so we know it's the real frame.
Hard to see.
Yeah, they're hard to see right now.
Paint
but this frame we got back a while back when we were being painted from my friend that does a lot of my painting and his body shop, and then we picked this up when we picked up a lot of the 68 parts. So, but it's been sitting around collecting dust since then because we haven't had a chance to get to it. So in this video for sure, we have the locked install. Probably work on installing that, and then because it's somewhat installed, it just kind of left it alone. We didn't really show this frame off yet. We got to put the cups in, and that's probably what we'll start off doing. We got a new bearing, our bushing and pressed into it a long time ago, and yeah, it's just ready to start, the base of putting the bike back together here. So when we get the motor done here in a little while, we'll be able to, in the next video, we'll be able to put it into the frame and see how it fits the bottom end. So let's go ahead and get started and get these bearing cups installed.
Have something to do with this too.
Okay, yeah, the differences, I was going to mention that. I forgot when I ended that last segment. Okay, so in 41, the frame started to get a grounding screw right here, which actually comes off your negative terminal on your battery to the ground. And in 56 frames, the posts for the coil are 3/8 size. And before that, they were actually a smaller stud hole there. So I know this is a 56 frame just by looking at that as well. So we're going to use our nice homemade tool here that pulls the cups together. We use this on the 40 as well. And it just, this beveled edge here on this aluminum chunk right here, fits inside there with the bearing races really nice. Yeah, and then we just squeeze it together by tightening up the nuts. We'll be doing that here in a second. We have the tool set up and ready to go. I mean, I could have left the original cups in, but they were kind of rough because originally they were like cadmium or whatever, but they get all rusty and ugly after a while. And the best thing about taking the cups out is I'm able to actually paint this ledge right here and get the paint on that ledge. So actually between these two surfaces, it's protected by paint. Then we just crank it down. Make sure they go in straight as we do it. And they're beveled and tapered, so they kind of self-lining.
Yep, here they go.
Yep, there we are. The top one's going down. Then when that one stops, this bottom one here will start pulling up. All right.
We gotta do something.
And then I'm gonna help hold the frame here. We're gonna pull this other one in. We got maybe start this one. I got it straightened back out. You guys just gotta check for that as you're going, because it can mess up. And it's not to where you can't mess it up. It can get messed up. So with the race cups installed, we're ready to move on to putting the upper and lower triple trees on. We're getting ready to install the bearings on these parts here. The lower triple tree. This is, of course, you can see it's got a casting number here of -48 for the Hydra-glide front end. This is original. I think I'm gonna leave the original finish here because it's mostly hidden with stainless covers and everything anyway, and it just kind of adds nostalgia to it, I suppose. I'm not big into the patina thing, but it kind of, it's just, it came with the bike, and I want to leave it kind of like this. And it's not, the finish isn't like horrible. So this is, like I said, it's all covered up by tin stuff, making it look pretty at the front end. So we're getting ready to press this bearing down. I debated over a while if I should repaint this thing or not, but I think I'm going to just go forward with this. So gotta make sure we get these bearing covers installed properly. There's two different sizes. There's the small one goes on the bottom, and then this bigger one here covers up the top cup, so the water,
Covers it up.
yeah, covers all of it up, kind of like that. So covers it all up so moisture can't get in. So we're gonna press this bearing down, and then work on installing the top here. Probably won't get too carried away with putting the front end together in this video. We'll put the legs on and all that stuff later, after we get the bottom end in, because that's gonna be heavy in the front. And yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get that going. Okay, we got the plunger right now is engaged into the lower triple tree, locking it, and we got our damper pin installed here, and then we just have it sitting here tentatively right now. We don't have the bearings greased or anything yet. We'll take it back out and go over that, but we're getting ready to put in replacement fork lock tumbler.
And we're gonna have to drill this once we have to drill into it and put a divot in there so that the roll pin catches and holds it so it stops at a certain spot. But we got to leave the key pulled out a little, and we rotate this till we get it all the way back. And then we want the key in that the only way I can do this, otherwise it does this. And
yeah, you can't get a positive where it needs to be.
So I need to know when I turn this that I get this.
This is a reproduction. It replaced the original one I had, because in '56 they went to this stainless cover and it was all beat to heck, and I didn't like that, so we
didn't have a key.
We didn't have a key to fit it, so luckily it was unlocked. So we were able to remove it, take this little cotter pin out, or this roll pin out right here somewhere. I don't know if you can see it at all.
Right there.
Yeah, we pulled that out, or drilled it out, and then yeah, now we're ready to put this replacement in. All right, we got the fork lock tumbler installed. It's pressed, the roll pin's pressed in there. You can see it, and it engages and stuff, and it works really well. And we had the triple tree in, and it does engage and locks it in a position. And now we can just take the key out and stuff. This reproduction tumbler does come with a really nice, correct Briggs & Stratton key. And it's numbered, and it's got its own numbering system and stuff. And this is the ignition key I'm going to be running this bike. And it is also a Briggs & Stratton key. So it's a real, really good stuff. I mean, the ignition switch, when we see it later down the road, it's a really good one. And it's a reproduction one, but it comes with these really on-the-spot keys, because you can buy a whole different range of reproduction stuff. You got to spend a little bit more money on the more premium parts. So anyway, so since we got the lock installed there, we're moving on. We got the bike's this frame sitting on a different lift now, which you probably seen in the background on the other videos of when we were working on the motor. Yeah, this lift is narrow. It doesn't have side aprons, and yeah, we're getting ready to put the front end on, I believe, so we can get this motor we just got done rebuilding into here and finish this video up. There's a couple of things I want to talk about this frame that I didn't. A lot of people like to whack these things off here, cut them off. These are floorboard mounts, both sides, and yeah, I mean,
loops off.
oh yeah, then they trim these loops off and make it all clean and stuff.
They cut this tab off, and some of them cut this tab off.
Oh, the tab over here. This is the tab for the what was that for? That was for the I think it was advanced cable, isn't it? Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah, the advanced cable. But anyways, that could
one
be
tab here too.
Oh, and this one here they like to take off, because when they make the choppers or whatever, it's like they don't want that hanging down. And this is for the choke lever thing for the linker to function properly. So there's a few of these we had to have put back on before we could have my buddy paint this thing, but I forgot to mention that. Like this, the toolbox mount, I had to have this put back on. This is not an original mount, because I think the original mounts had like a welded on nut in the back here. But we'll have to run that differently, because the aftermarket ones aren't quite the same. But it fits the frame better. So otherwise, we're all good here with this. I just wanted to mention that. I forgot about it at the beginning, going through the footage here. So we got, we're gonna get the front end parts all laid out here and get ready to put it all together. We got the case guard installed. It's like a black finish. It goes underneath there, and then I added a stainless washer on top here. And then they got the 1038 bolts parkerized like it's supposed to be, going downward, and the hex nuts underneath hold it together. I think we're going to move on to installing the triple trees and the legs, and then we can start working on some wheel stuff. That might be a different video, so we'll see how this goes. So here's the fork legs for the 56 here, and they've been picked these up at the Davenport swap meet a couple years ago, and these are actually in pretty good shape. They've all been rebuilt because they got the new plugs in there.
Somebody put Allen's in it.
Aftermarket ones don't have plugs in there. No, that's how they were. They were
Oh, were
Allen's.
they Allen?
Yep.
Okay.
This bottom piece here is steel, but painted silver. And looks like they got maybe stainless hardware in there, which is okay. And caps are nice and new. Probably from Colony, they're chrome. So anyway, those are ready to go on. They're nice, not all beat up. Either that or the guys spent a lot of time polishing them up, making them look pretty. But yeah, it's ready to go together. A lot of the forks throughout the years changed, but I'm not going to go into details about them all. But this is correct with the right brake on the correct side, on the left side. And yeah, we'll get ready to put all that together. So some history on the Hydra-glide front end. Of course, it came out in 49. A lot of the development was in 48. So you'll see 48 part numbers here and there. And then it was really introduced on the 49 pan heads and going forward. The Springer front end was still available on the pan heads. They talk about here in 48, but it was all the models that were pretty much had sidecars. They felt that this was a stronger front end for a sidecar yet. So very few had the Springer front end or a spring fork front end. Anyways, this is we're setting on. I got this set up to be the 55, 56, 57, 58, 59 style front end, Hydra-glide front end. So there's certain parts that dictate those to be on those year bikes. They changed this front tin from having 3 stripes at like an angle to they had like 4 or something. There's also an adjustable front fork. I think they show it in here. It's like they have 2 different units. There's like a hydraulic unit here. This one has, I took it apart. This one has these in it. It's not a big deal. We're going to be installing a damper in this front end, which is also an option. I'm going to put all that stuff in. We might not do it in this video, but it's going to be coming up along with the tins. The tins will probably be put on a different video. The adjustable front fork, it would like hinge up here, and I think it's next page. Yeah, here we go. So look at the top there. It's got like a pivot point there, and it would come through, and then it would sit on the triple tree. Lower triple tree was a different setup too. This is not, of course, the adjustable fork style. This is the style I had with the bike, so I kind of left it with that style. These are not, like I said before, these are not the original fork tubes that were on this bike. They were stretched and bent, and these were all aftermarket on that for the front end. So the guy was making like a chopper or something. But found an original set here, all nice, polished up and nice and stuff, and it's gonna work out really well. I'm excited about that. Oh, that and the other thing is with this this front end and stuff. Back in when this was original, this would not have had chrome tubes. The chrome tubes is a lot better. It seals on the seal a lot better. Moisture would still get to this stuff behind the tin part, the cowbell part that goes right here. It would still get behind there and kind of get some surface rust, then rip the seals out. It was a big deal. It was kind of a big deal, and it constantly had to fix front ends like that because they were leaking and stuff. So when they developed the chrome fork tube, they made them for an upgrade, so you could fix your bikes. So, of course, the other parts for the adjustable front fork are all listed nicely in this parts book. But Yeah, any other specific things here I can think of? I ended up putting stainless bolts in for this. Of course, we installed the bearings and the cups already. So now we're going to grease the bearings and drop the lower triple tree up in there and bring the top one down, kind of sandwich it together so we can bring our tubes up into it. And we'll do all the fine adjusting later, but we're just going to try to get this on wheels. So maybe not all in this video, but definitely get it to where it's going to be close. We still got to put the tires on the rims yet. So got the bearings greased up. I'm not worried about too much grease, but I'm also don't want it to be all over the place. So I got it lubed and ready to go. Same with the top bearing. The top bearing is ready to go in too. So I'm gonna put this in quick, and then I'll show you how all the other parts kind of like line up to attach the two. So we're getting ready to put the lower triple tree in, and so of course this is all pressed on here, right? The bearing, the cups of the frame, the bearing, and the chrome piece into the stem right there. Once it gets put in, it gets kind of confusing because sometimes the picture can be misleading, or I'd see seen a lot of confusion on this and a lot of questions on this before, and other things I've seen and read and watched. But anyways, what happens is the bearing cups on there, we're installing the bearing, and in this piece up here, which is this part, and has the cup cover on top of it or with it. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're separate pieces. You can get them either way. And in my what I got going on here is it's separated. So we got the chrome cover on there. Now what you do is you run this down with the taller part up, because it's going to be locking into the underneath of the top triple tree here. See how that's got witness marks on it right there? Well, what's happening is you're tightening the stem up to the cover and the bearing and all that stuff, and you're getting you're tightening it up, and you're getting your slap, your wobble kind of like firmed up. You want to start there and to where it just kind of like moves around very little. So anyways, if you don't want it too tight, because it can cause the bearings to prematurely wear out, or too loose, and then you got like way easy left to right movement on your forks. So we're going to tighten it up as much as we can right now. We can always take it back off when we get the forks and stuff all installed. Then we can actually torque it up or tighten it up a little bit more to where we can actually feel the whole movement of the front forks when it's up. So anyways, we're going to do that. So I'm going to show you here in a minute what it looks like with this on here and installed to the thing. Then we're going to put the top triple tree cover on, or top triple tree piece on, and then this top nut right here, which is that one right there, the 45718-48. It comes down and fits into the groove also, because sandwiching this piece in place, so it falls in there too. This one's coming up from underneath, like I said, and going in there. And then this piece is coming on the top, sandwiching it together. That can be misleading for some people, so I just want to make sure I have that well explained here. Alright, so that's what it looks like installed on top of the chrome cover here. And when we get this tight to where we want to make sure that one of these little looped holes, whatever right here, lines up with one of the holes in the top triple tree that are at the top. And then we'll set that on here. Later down the road, we'll make sure that it lines up then, but for right now, for this kind of what we're doing here, starting off, we're just going to kind of like mock it up in a way, and then we'll really address it when we're ready to move on to putting more parts on this bike. So there's the 3 holes I was talking about. We want to make sure that that half circle piece of the bottom piece, like I was just mentioning, it lines up and opens up one of these holes completely. So when this piece comes down over top of the stem nut, this one, it can actually, this little pin is installed here. You need to make sure your piece has a pin. Sometimes they break off. It has to go down over top of the stem nut like a puzzle piece here, and it'll just clear it. It should anyway. There it goes. And then it'll fall into one of them holes. You got 3 spots to get it right. So just like that. And that also helps lock all this in place. So then we start building the damper after that. So we'll be doing that all coming up later in a different video probably, but for all purposes here, I just wanted to show this how this is done. So now I'm gonna put the top triple tree on and run this nut in, and making sure that this slot part on top is up, and this part here falls into there. So, all right, so there we are. We got the top triple tree down, and we have the stem nut down. It's in that groove, and it's all tightened up. Now we're ready to start moving on to putting the cowbells on and installing the fork tube assemblies. All right, so I got a strap down here to hold the frame down tight because I'm going to start putting the front end stuff on, and it's going to get heavy in the front real fast because I don't have any back weight right now, or transmission or engine in, of course. And to put these in, of course, we got to put the cowbells or the bottom tins, the guards over the top of for the forks there, and because they can't slide over this way. So they have to get put on. And I'm not sure, we want to make sure the seam goes to the back so we don't see it at the front. And I got the screws around here somewhere, but they just get mounted up on here like so. And then we can slide the tubes and tube assemblies up there. Put some blue Loctite on there. And then this is our 49 through 60 something or 70 something screw that goes in there. Yeah, OEM 1367 screws used on 49 to 77 FLHs. So
They don't move, so it must be in the right spot.
yeah. And then, yep, just gotta tighten this one up, and then we'll be ready to slide the fork tube assemblies in. All right, we got the tins on, and we have the fork slider assemblies up in there, and we'll probably come to an end here because we got to work on the wheels yet and get them all ready to go. So this kind of concludes this part of the chassis and stuff and getting it ready for the engine. So I hope you enjoyed everything, and we'll see you again soon.